Doing something a little different here today. I got two cameras, little two. I'm going to do the episode here. I'm going to record, put it out to YouTube, and also go live here on Instagram. Who knows? Haven't done an episode of the Hobby with Cage in a minute. And this morning, I was, just scrolling Instagram. Got a couple people send stuff to me. A couple people sent me articles. People sent me articles. What's up, The Real Card Show? I'm going to try to stay off the chat, right? Because you know me, I get distracted, but I'm waving at people. So I wanted to go live. Two things. Number one, I'm sitting watching. What's up, Cam Texan? I'm sitting watching CNBC, and I'm listening to all the tariff stuff. I'm listening to all that stuff. And somebody sent me an article about something that is relevant for the hobby. But then somebody sent me an article about the WWE WrestleMania 101 patches, and I wanted to come on and talk about that. What's up, PC Sports Cards? How you doing, man? Good consignment company. I've used them myself. You can ask questions. You can do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to post this live. It'll be an Instagram live, but I'm also doing, this will be available on YouTube for everybody. But here's my take, right? I want to talk about two things. I'll try to keep it short. One of them is the wrestling stuff, and the other one is the tariffs, just the overall market. I have somebody who was, damn that smile. I had somebody who was, buying a lot of stuff from me, and they all of a sudden stopped when this Liberation Day, Tariff Day, all that craziness started. What's up, Daddy Rips? And it was just something that was kind of weighing on me, right? Like, will the overall market have an impact on the space? What part of it will it impact? Is it just the high-end crazy cards? Is it everything? Is it, does it filter all the way to breaking, to repacks, you name it? But I'll tell you, really, the one thing that I want to talk about is this, and we got enough people in the live now, and Hobby with Cage, brought to you by Arena Club and Bleecker Trading. I say that every episode, but here it is. You ready? I hate what Fanatics is doing with the patches. I'm going to tell you a little story. So right now we have WrestleMania this weekend, and they're all rabid fans, man. PSA does get plastic from China. We'll talk about that. We will. Rabid fans. The fan base is going to love this. They can eat this up. And somebody sent me a message saying, this is going to be great. It's a game changer. Wow, look at this for wrestling. And I saw, my friend Eric Larson, the UFC card father, immediately post, why can't we get this for UFC? Great. It'll be there. Now we got the MLB debut patches, and then Shohei has the patch from when he was hitting 50-50, and then every award winner from last year is going to wear these gold patches and all this other fun stuff, right? And it's interesting. Who the hell is dead homie David, who is now eating up the chat, asking to come in? No, I don't know who you are, so you're not going to come in. I have the microphone, so you will listen to every word I have to say. So interesting, right? The patches. This is what it gets me thinking of, right? It gets me thinking of this. I worked at a law firm, and I had a boss, and he used to dump work on my desk all the time. And that's what happens, right? That's what happens in the in the space all the time, right? Your boss is just dumping work on. It doesn't matter if it's a law firm, doesn't matter if it's not a law firm. They're giving you work. And I'd show up to my desk, and there'd be a stack of work, and I'd look at the first, 5-6 things, and it'd say urgent on top of it. Okay, so take that, put it in a pile. I got to take care of that today. The next one, urgent. Put that in a pile. I guess I got to take care of this today. Urgent. 5 things he left me overnight to take care of, and all of them were marked urgent to do. So I put them in a pile. I guess I got to do these today, right? Take care of them all, urgent, urgent, urgent. Next day I come in, my boss left 6 things on my desk in addition to the stuff he gave me. It took me about a week to realize that every single thing he left on my desk was marked urgent. Urgent, urgent, red ink. All right, well, your boss gives you work, you take care of it, but I didn't immediately take it and go, oh, wow, I got to do it. Urgent, urgent. I must have been working there for about a month, right? And after about a month, anyway, after about a month of, urgent, 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 everything's on it, he gave me something to do. It was, hey, It didn't say urgent on it. I got to tell you, I'm sitting at my desk. I dropped everything. I said, what is this? Like, what kind of crazy work is this? And I said, you know what? I got to take care of this. I got to do this thing today. Why? Because it didn't have the word urgent on it. It stuck out. It all of a sudden was like, wow, this is something different, right? Now, when someone sent me over the moral of the story there, right? If everything's urgent, nothing's urgent, right? I mean, you understand that, right? Like if every item is marked urgent, then all of a sudden the stuff that's not marked urgent becomes the urgent and the special thing. Now, I've commented about this with all of the crazy one-of-ones that are out there, right? I mean, there are people with, one of one, we got this, it's a one-of-one, we got a, well, if every card's a one-of-one and people have 10,000 one-of-ones, then what's so weird about that? I'm afraid of this with the patches. I'm afraid that what was a cool thing, right, was this is a novel idea. Wow, look at this. In addition to having a baseball player's first Bowman auto, right, or having, the Fanatics came up with a great idea, the MLB debut patch. And it's a moneymaker, and it's a chaser. But don't you think in a month, when All-Star voting's going on, Fanatics is going to release this monstrous idea? Hey, every All-Star player is going to be wearing an All-Star patch, and we're going to put the All-Star patches in there. And then when the playoffs start, we're going to have wild card patches, and we're going to have championship round patches, and we're going to have patches for the World Series. And then any given player for any season is going to have a dozen patch auto cards. Now, wrestling's got WrestleMania. Well, they're going to have the Money in the Bank match. They're going to have this patch. They're going to have the champion patch. Whatever the heck it is. I don't even know wrestling, so I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But you can see it, right? And the only reason we haven't seen this inundation yet is because Topps doesn't have the basketball and the football market yet. It's coming. But what's interesting about this is the only people who are going to tell you these are the chase are the people who are making their money off of Fanatics' backs. PC Sports says, and they are still the chase. Michael's on art. I like it. The patches will have their own patches. Soon there'll be a patch to discuss who had a patch. It's an interesting thing, right? And then now you're going to have, patches were cool. You don't have to go so far from our hobby to think about what happened here, right? Just look at like when game use patches came out, right? Think about the patch was a big thing. Think of how much people paid for those original game jersey cards. Your Michael Jordan game jersey. Jordan's a different breed, right? But that card has value. Now you get a patch in a Prism box and you throw it out. Like I have a stack of patches down there. I don't even send them a ComC because I don't want to pay 50 cents for them to load it because I don't think it's going to sell for 50 cents. And that to me is the story here. It is a great idea, but we have to have our voice, think ahead, and realize that it's bad if they water it down. Is that fair, right? Is that a fair thing? Now, yes, PC Sports Cards 2017 print runs, everything is print run, everything. But you can't deny that even with the print runs where they are, right? Even with the print runs where they are, they created a chase with this. So while the product is watered down, sure, right? Look at what that update with Skeens and those guys in it. Look at how much people paid for the update boxes, that Topps Chrome update, because it had that chase in it. Don't kill the chase. I know it's a lotto ticket. I know it's something that, you're not going to get it. But my kid is 11. He didn't write a journal after pulling a card, hypothetically, out of the pack. But he did write a list of presents he wanted this year. And I'm going to tell you, I have a very, very cool list from Santa because it's a hobby list. And it tells me Fanatics on the... He wrote on there, I want a box of Topps Chrome update. Unless the Paul Skeens 1-of-1 debut patch has been pulled, then I don't want it. Then get me something else. Now, does that not tell you everything you need to know about whether or not the chase mentality that they're trying to create with this has bled through? Of course it has. Of course it has. The debut patches are special. The debut patches, 100%. It's sort of like the difference between a patch auto and a rookie patch auto, right? So 100% basketball card guy, right? The rookie, the debut, that is the day. It's going to make it special. My problem is that I believe that they're going to water it down. I believe that they're going to continue this until the patches just become useless. If you have a patch for everything, you might as well have a patch for nothing. Save it for something that is, got some real value, got some, real collectability. And I mean, I saw this wrestling thing, and sure, at first I thought, wow, it's a great idea. Why shouldn't they do this? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized what's coming. They'll turn the spigot on. They had some great success with it, and it's just going to be everywhere for everything. And guys, you don't have to look so far, right? I mean, this guy drew a Paul Skeens, right? You don't have to look so far, right? I mean, Panini, while they're not patches, had wild success with the Kaboom and Downtown inserts. They made them the chase. Everybody wanted them. They became the case hits that everybody's there, right? Everything is there. But then they started putting them one in every box by mistake. Then they were just everywhere. Now, if something's everywhere, it might as well be nowhere. And yes, now they have uptowns, which is ridiculous, right? It's crazy stuff. And Valerie, you're probably right. They'll have midtowns soon enough. My point on this, right, is I'd love it if Fanatics would listen to us. They won't, because this is a moneymaker, right? The more patches they can put into products, the more they have these, the chase, or the appearance of a chase in the product, the more product they can sell. It's an interesting thing to think about, because what should be something that's good, if you think 1, 2, or 3 steps ahead, you realize what's going to come down the pike. And I'd be a little nervous, buying patches like that, for the amount of money they're being paid. Basketball card guy, as always, makes a very good point. There are going to have to be delineations between the patches, right? Think about that, because these are supposed to be such rare items, right? Sure, Spinatron paid $1 million for the 50-50 Logo Man Shohei that didn't even have a really nice auto. It was a 9 auto. And, he picked the marker up and the whole deal. But that's a cool patch, right? He was wearing it when he got 50-50. Like, you can't take that moment away. That's a specific fun stuff. Sports Cards Nonsense loves everything Fanatics does. They're not here. If they want to join, I would bring them in video. I love talking to Mike. But there is that, guys. I mean, I don't get $1 from Fanatics. I open cards with my son, and a lot of times they're Fanatics, a lot of times they're Panini. I've been collecting for a long time. My news yesterday was 10 PSA 10 Jackie Robinson autos that I bought, and Fanatics didn't get $1 from it. It's a different type of collecting, I guess. I think Fanatics does a lot of good things, though. Right. And you got Robert England joining. It's a wrestling guy right there. It's not Freddy Krueger. He's a wrestling collector beast. And I'm sure he loves the WWE patches. I'm sure he also loves the 82 All-Stars. He loves the traditional stuff. It's interesting to watch. It's a cool blend of the new and the old, but you got to be careful with the new, because sometimes it gets overdone, right? Sometimes it goes too far. And that was my point this morning when somebody sent me over the message, right? And they said, this is going to be awesome. The wrestling fans are going to go crazy for it. I know a lot of wrestling fans, and they probably will go crazy for it. But before doing that, before paying so much for the THWC WrestleMania patch, hopefully he wins it, maybe save your money for the guy who wins the WrestleMania. And that patch should be a huge one, right? Unless he wins it again next year, or unless he wins the Royal Rumble and there's a patch for that. Or, he wins the King of the Ring, or who the hell knows what it is. See, Robert England says old school all day. But, I mean, I'm not a get-off-the-lawn guy. I love what they're doing, right? But as a UFC fan, Bruce Buffer patches and royalty are legendary. Look those up. Number 1, Nathan, what I'll tell you to do is right back at you. You should look up that in 2012, they actually inserted Bruce Buffer's ring cards, the actual used ring cards in the Topps product. I bet you didn't know that, because what's being marketed to you right now is these awesome Buffer patches in royalty, because that's what will get you to go and buy a box. That's what the breakers want you to do. But the It's Time, he signed them. Those cards, you could actually get the UFC 212 Buffer's card. He's reading it out. It's actually there for you to go and get. That's a cool insert. Look those up. You tell me to look it up. You should look it up. That's why they say chase what you love. The only people who are not telling you to chase what you love, who are telling you this is the greatest thing, this is the greatest thing, are the people who continue to open it and want you to open it. So there's your deal. Thanks, Drew. One of the original Cage lawyers right there, Drew Vasiri. A lot of fun. Tariffs and fanatics, this too shall pass. Zona Sports. The tariffs thing is interesting because the same person who sent me an article this morning about the patches for WrestleMania, McGregor suit card would be great. A little the same also sent me that the some of the Asian markets, China, you name it, they're no longer going to ship to the US. So think about that, right? I mean, I bought a card from Card Hobby recently, a pretty expensive card. I hope I get it. There's a lot of deal making, especially on the high end between, the countries. And if there's a trade war here, what happens? What's up, casual MMA cards? What happens with that? I mean, there's a lot of big time basketball collectors in Asia. A lot of the high end stuff. V Friends has been watered down already with useless autos. Who's autographing it? Do they have like Tame Tiger signing his name, putting a paw print down? Anyway, so I just wanted to come on here. It's already been too long. I appreciate you guys for jumping in and talking about this stuff. The tariff thing, what I will tell you, just 1 minute on this is, at least from the high end, I will tell you that think about how people buy things. Just go on your hobby Instagram for a second. And while there's nothing wrong with it, right? Take a look at this. There's Fun Your Cards. There's Wharf, who is, consigning cards to get more cards. Every auction house is taking cards in to let you pay for your cards. Liquidity is what makes the hobby go round. I believe if you go back to like 2020 and they study it in, business school, the boom of the hobby was part nostalgia, maybe one part nostalgia, but 5 parts an infusion of liquidity, an infusion of cash, whether it's PPP loans to support some of the hobby's best known, to just everybody else getting stimmies, everybody else getting money and being home and not being able to spend it on anything else, right? Well, when you have that money, right, when you have that extra liquidity, it booms the market, not just in cards. It's all alternative assets. You guys, when you finished with this live here, take a look at what gold is doing today. It's at an all-time high. People are flying to what you would call a quality asset. It's a flight to quality. And cards are an alternate asset. It's very difficult to call them quality assets, no matter how much the Michael Jordan guys want to tell you that Jordan is gold. So I believe there will be less liquidity in the market. I'm already talking to a lot of people who have spent a lot of money with me on cards, buying a lot of stuff from me. I keep that network open, right? I like to get a pulse for what people are thinking. I like to, find out what kind of money is out there. And I will tell you, the people who have spent 7 figures in the last year and a half, they're feeling a squeeze. They're feeling a pinch. They're looking at their portfolios. They're looking at the price of crypto, looking at the price of Bitcoin. They're looking at the overall markets. They're looking at, potential tariffs and potential, uncertainty in the markets, and they are tightening their belts a little bit and maybe not spending as much on cards. And well, a lot of people are probably going to hear this and say, well, who cares about that? That's the top of the market, right? That's, these people who are spending hundreds of $1,000s on cards. Well, guess what? That drives it all. I don't care what anybody says, that drives the whole thing. And the reason why it drives the whole thing is because every time Shine comes out and steak knifes a 9.5 and turns it into a 10, every time, his exquisites are shown out there, or P. Ryan goes out and shows a card, or gold is selling a Costco basketball card guy, 100%. Gold's at an all-time high. But every time somebody puts that out there, that's why a kid wants to get in a break. That's why a kid wants to go do a trade-up challenge. That's why the people who came in this want to do your I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get those cards, right? Those high end drive the low end. That's the way it works. And if you don't see as many people spending $1 million on this or $500,000 on that, et cetera, it all trickles down. And that's my take on the overall market stuff. That combined with, man, there is an avalanche of big auctions coming up in the next couple of months with huge cards all fighting for the same dollars. And that's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting. So anyway, guys, that's 20 minutes. I thought I'd be like 10. This was a fun. I'm trying to look at both cameras here. Camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two. That's Wayne's World. Talk about those one-on-one patches. Talk about this stuff. Haven't done an episode in a while. Jaffe, Paul, I appreciate you. I'm glad you enjoyed the content. Sorry for snapping a little bit on the Bruce Buffer stuff. It's just everything that's been done has already been done. It's now warmed over. Just get a little. I like to throw cold water on things that are hot. That's kind of the way that I do it. It's sort of my MO. The WWE patch, I love it. I think it's a great idea. And I would love it if Topps came out and said, you know what? That's all we're going to do this year. For wrestling, we are only going to have the WrestleMania patches. And we're going to spread it out across a couple products, or it's only going to be in these 2 products, or whatever it is. That would be fantastic, because then it's a legitimate chase with some legitimate scarcity, some rarity, some collectability. They're not going to do that. And instead, people are going to chase this product. They're going to see the success of the chase. They're going to see the price that whatever those cards are in are going to chase. And then all of a sudden, boom, you have the same thing again. And then 3 times a year, 5 times a year. And it's just like somebody writing urgent on every piece of paper that comes across your desk. Everything's urgent. Nothing is. We don't need no stinking patches. Thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate you. The live and episode brought to you today by Bleecker Trading and Arena Club. Rip some slab packs. Valor does it all the time. He has fun with it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody.